I tore up the hotel room. Keep it all in This check. Is the master collection. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube. Welcome back. Hey. And if this is your first time to my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Today I'm coming to you with a review of the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe collaboration of brushes. This is the Master Collection. You guys know that I just got my set. If you haven't seen my most recent Morphe haul video, I'll link that above. I know I'm kind of late in the game on this review. She released these brushes about 4 months ago, but since I did just get them, I have been using them like crazy. I wanted to see how they perform and just kind of live with them for a little while before I actually give you a review of what I think of each brush. So without further ado, here we go. So of course, this is the big beautiful box that the brushes come in. They retail at $165, but of course I got them during the Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals, so I did get quite a bit off of my brushes. Now the case does open up like this, and you will find all 24 brushes inside. And of course, mines are dirty. Do not judge. I'm actually going to be doing a video on how I clean my makeup brushes fast and easy, so stay tuned for that video. But for now, I wanted them to collect as much product as possible so that I can show you how I get my brushes clean to where they look brand new. But I actually do not keep my brushes in here. This is actually just the travel case, and I have used this when I've traveled. This past winter break, went out of town 3 times, packed up my brushes in this travel case each time, and I would say that the travel case works perfectly, and I was even able to fit more brushes than these brushes in here. I fit all of these brushes as well as several other eye brushes, including other Morphe brushes and other brand eye brushes that I really like, and they all fit pretty comfortably in this case. Jaclyn actually recommends that you put some tape here so it doesn't fly open in your suitcase, but of course I pack real tight. I was able to slide this in and it didn't budge, so I actually like this case. But when I am home using my brushes, I do not use them out of the case. I actually just keep them in this white mug with a gold handle, and it houses all of my Jaclyn Hill brushes. Now I want to get into the brushes, the quality, the use, and what I think of the brushes. First, I'm going to start with the eye brushes. Out of 24 brushes, 14 of them are all eye brushes. Of course, 8 of these brushes are included in the Eye Master collection, and the rest of them came in the Master collection. Starting with the JH30, this is the biggest blending brush in the set, and this is a good transition color brush. I like to pick up my transition color with this brush and go in on my transition area with this brush. Normally when I transition, I use the Morphe E27 brush, which is not a part of this collection, but that's just the brush that I normally use. But when I am using this collection, I do like to use this brush for my transition. Jaclyn actually calls this brush the Beast Mode Blender brush. And this is a natural hair brush. The next brush that I really like is the JH36. This one is also a natural hair brush. I like to use this brush to apply color and to blend out. This is the bigger of the 2 buffer blending brushes. The next one is the JH37. This is the smaller of the 2 buffer brushes. I also like using this brush for the same, but I use it to apply in a smaller area. A lot of times you'll see me use this brush in my outer V, and this is also a natural hair brush. Another brush that I really like to use is the JH40. This is a precise blender brush. I also like to use this one in my outer V, and I also like to use this in my lower lash. Next favorite of mine is the JH41. This is the all over lid brush, and I really love this brush. I use this brush whenever I am applying a cream color or shimmer all over my lid. I spray it with a little misting spray, and then I go right in with the color all over my lid. and I actually freaked out because I thought I had lost it when I was out of town and I could not find this brush in my kit. I tore up the hotel room looking for this brush. I was only saved because I just happened to have my crayon case cream color brush, but I freaked out because I could not find this brush, and when I got home, it was sitting on my vanity, and I was so very thankful because I really love this brush. And the Morphe site says that this is actually a blend of synthetic and natural hair. The next brush that I really like to use is the JH43. This is the eyeliner smudge brush, and of course I like to take this and go right in on my waterline. You can also use this for eyeliner. I have not used it for eyeliner yet, but I've definitely used it on my waterline, and I really like this brush. And this is a synthetic hair brush, and I really like it because the hairs are a little stiff on this brush, so it allows you to get in there really tight and right. The next fave of mine is the JH42. This is the brow bone highlight brush, and this is perfect to pick up your favorite highlighting shade and go right in on that brow bone with that highlighting shade. It's a small flat brush and it just does the trick right. And this brush is a natural brush. The next fave of mine out of the eye brushes is the JH39. This is the inner corner highlighter brush, and I literally just grab my favorite inner corner shade and go right in on my inner corner with this brush. And this is a synthetic hair brush. So these are the rest of the brushes, and the one that I like the most out of these brushes is the JH33, and this is the universal blender brush. And what I like to do with this brush, as you can see, it's tapered so it goes up to a point, and I actually like to grab a color and go right in on my crease with this brush because it gets right in that crease really good. And this is a natural hair brush. Next up is the JH38. She calls this the perfect pencil brush. This is a natural hair brush, and it's perfect to do all those good things that pencil brushes do. The last four eye brushes, I haven't really found very good use for them yet, although I have used them. As you can see, they are dirty, but not as dirty as the other brushes. And that's because I feel like these brushes are not necessarily duplicates because they are different from the rest of the brushes, but I feel like I can complete my eye look with all of the brushes that I've gone through thus far. These are just extra brushes that I can use when I want to switch shades without having to clean the other brushes first. So it's good to have these, but I don't use them as much as the other brushes that I just went through. This one is the JH34, which she calls the Carve Your Crease brush. This is the one that I probably have used the most out of the four. It's all natural hair, and it does get the job done whenever I go in on my crease with this brush. Then you have the JH35, which she calls the upper crease brush, so you can use this in your upper crease. It's a bit fluffier than the JH34, as you can see, just a tad bit bigger or wider, so this is perfect to use in the upper crease. Lastly, of the eye brushes, we have the J31. This is a fluffy blender brush. It's all natural hair as well as the last one was, and it's a blender brush that is fluffy. Then the last eye brush is the JH32, and she calls this the Transition Blender brush. This is also a natural hair brush, and so this brush would be good to blend out that transition area. Next, I'm going to go into the face brushes before I talk about this kit as a whole. Of course, only 5 of these brushes come in the Complexion Master collection of brushes, and the other 5 come with the Master Collection set. The Eye Master Collection set retails at $42, and the Complexion Master Collection set retails at $58. First up in the face brushes, we have the JH10. Jaclyn calls this the Snatcher Edges brush, and this is a synthetic brush. This honestly is the only brush in the entire collection that I have not quite used yet. It is only dirty because it has picked up powders from my powder brush. Jaclyn says that she actually uses this brush when she's baking. She'll go in with some powder and go right down the bridge of her nose. Also takes it under the eye. Before I got this brush, I already had the Morphe E55, which essentially does the same thing. However, obviously this brush has longer bristles. It's a straight edge, whereas this brush is shorter and it's an angled brush. I've definitely used this brush to bake before, but I actually like that these bristles are shorter and this is an angled brush. The next brush in the collection is the JH08. She calls this the Anything Creamy brush, and I believe in her debut of these brushes on her YouTube, she says that she uses this for concealer. I did as well when I first got this brush, and it worked really good for concealer, but what I found is I like to use it for my nose contouring. So when I contour my nose, I like to go in with this brush and just blend out that contour straight down the sides of the bridge and right there on the tip of my nose. I find that this brush is the perfect size to get in there and do that. It's not too big. It is a synthetic hair brush and it gets the job done. The next brush that I love to use for contouring is the JH05. She calls this the perfect contour brush. This one is a natural hair brush, and I like to use this brush to contour right here below my cheek and also at the edges of my hair. The only thing I do not like about my brush, and this is my least favorite brush in the set, and it's strictly because this is the only brush in the set that sheds. As you can see, it's already shedding. I feel like this brush is constantly shedding and I'm not quite sure why. It's the only brush in the set that sheds. Another thing about this brush is I feel like maybe because of the shedding, it feels very prickly sometimes, and I just don't like that on my face. All the other brushes feel so very soft and smooth. Other than that, it does get the job done. The next brush that I love to use is the JH07. This is the under eye powder brush, synthetic hairs, and as you can see, it's angled on one end, so it is perfect just to lay down under the eye and get in there and sweep away the powder under the eye for this brush. However, ever since I think it was Alyssa Ashley that I saw use this brush to blend out concealer under the eye, I've been using it for that instead, and what I can tell you is this brush is perfect to blend out concealer under the eye. I literally take it and just pat, 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 and it spreads out that concealer perfectly and blends it so nicely. I also will use it to blend out my concealer here. I'll go down the bridge of my nose with it. I'll hit my Cupid's bow, and I also blend out my concealer on my chin. I love this brush, and I especially love that it is angled and it is perfect to lay down on the face. This is a synthetic brush. My next favorite brush is the JH04. This is the ultimate blush brush. This brush is perfect. This is a synthetic brush as well. As you can see, it's angled like most blush brushes, but this brush is just so perfect to pick up your favorite blush and go in right here. I love this brush. Out of all of the blush brushes that I have used, this is by far my favorite. Loving, loving, loving this brush. My next favorite brush in this set is the JH06. She calls this my everything brush. It's natural hairs, and I believe she says that she's used this for blush, bronzing, but I think what she likes using it for the most is to go on with a nice translucent powder under the eye or on the jawbone. It lays it perfectly, and then you sweep it away, and its angle allows it to perfectly just place the product and sweep it away. It's the perfect brush for that, and I love it, and it feels so good on the face. It's so light and just perfect. I can perfectly understand why she calls this my everything brush. My next favorite brush in this set is so funny because the face brushes are probably my favorite in this collection. I'm talking about the JH09, and she calls this the Glow Baby Glow brush. As of right now, this brush is so dirty, so please don't judge it. Don't judge any of these brushes on the color that you see, because like I said, these brushes are dirty. When this brush is clean, it is perfectly white. These are natural hairs, and I love using this brush to highlight. It is perfect on picking up my favorite highlighter and going in right on my nose, in the bridge of my nose, my cupid's bow, my chin, my cheekbone, above my eyebrows or my forehead. It's just perfect to use as a highlighting brush. It's so funny because before I started using this brush, I always used the Morphe E60 fan brush for my highlight. And I've heard a few makeup artists say that there's no point in using a fan brush for a highlight. However, I've seen so many makeup artists use this brush for highlighting, and it seems like if you know what you're doing, this kind of brush applies the product fabulously. What I love about this brush, it feels so luxurious and fabulous, and it gets in there and just really applies the highlight. But we're not talking about that today. We're talking about Jaclyn Hill's brushes, and what I can say is, as far as highlighting, this brush is perfect. It's more controlled, it's more precise, a smaller brush, and it gets the job done. It lays that highlight so beautifully, and I really like this brush. Next brush is the JH02. This is her bronzer brush, and when I first got this set, I never used this brush for anything. It was probably the second least used brush in the set for me. You guys know that I recently got the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, but of course this bronzer is my skin tone more than anything, so this doesn't bronze me at all. If anything, it just smells so good because it smells like red hots and hot cocoa and cinnamon. If anything, I could just smell this thing all day. It is so perfect. So until I find the right bronzer, I will not be using this for bronzing. However, what I do use it for is contouring. I like to use this for a powder contour. Since I actually use the contouring and concealer brushes for my contouring, I found that this is the perfect powder contouring brush for me. I like to take a little powder and go right in my large contouring areas with this brush, as is evident because you see that this is a dark brown. This brush is natural hairs. My next favorite brush in this collection is the JH03. She calls this the Ride or Die foundation brush. I absolutely love this brush to apply my foundation. It is a flat top, sort of kabuki brush. It is perfect for getting in there and stippling all over the face with your favorite foundation. I'm not quite sure how it really works as a buffer. Whenever I apply my foundation, I always use it in a stipple motion, and I love how this brush performs. It is perfect. I don't think you can have a more perfect foundation brush. And it's so funny because before I got this brush, I always applied my foundation with the flat top You Can Be foundation brush, and I loved this brush. I never thought that I would like another brush more than this brush, but when I saw this brush, I just knew that I was gonna love it because I always like the shape of these type of kabuki style brushes. This brush totally met and exceeded my expectations. And this is a synthetic hair brush. I love how short this brush and how thick this brush is. It just feels perfect in the hand when applying foundation. Last brush of the set is the JH01, and Jaclyn is right. This is the big bad boy powder brush. This brush is perfect to complete your look before you go in with your misting spray. It definitely gets in there and helps us oily girls keep it all in check. I love this brush, and this is a synthetic hair brush, and guys, look how big this brush is. This brush is perfect. It is so big and it gets all over the face fast and quick and gets the job done. It seems like it's a perfect rounded brush, but on one end it's sort of tapered, so it's perfect to go in there and just pat, 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 pat all over the face. Love this brush. So that is all of the brushes that are included in the entire master collection of brushes. Overall, in general, I think that these brushes perform so good. Highly recommend these brushes if you're not opposed to using some natural hair brushes. You have a lot of synthetic hair brushes in this set as well. I love the look of the brushes with the white handle and the silver ferrule. It has Morphe and Jaclyn Hill written in all of the brushes. Can't really see that, but with the number of the brush written in the handle just there. The brush hairs are so soft, other than the one contouring brush that I had the issue with, but maybe it's just my brush. I'm not sure if maybe if I go buy this brush in a single, if maybe I might get a better quality out of this brush. You can buy these brushes together in the set, or you can buy them individually. You can use Jaclyn's code to save 10% off, or any other beauty influencers who has a Morphe code. So that is it for my review of these brushes, guys. I hope this video was helpful to you. If so, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Don't forget to share and subscribe. Also hit the bell notification so you'll be notified the next time that I upload a video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. And they all fit